Does that mean we're live?
Are we live?
Hey, welcome.
Hi. This is Kill the DJ. It's a special edition because we have very few DJs. But today we have a special guest, Robbie Roxo, taking place of TJ because TJ's. Robbie's not going to quit. Oh, your mic's not on. Are you on standby?
Well, Mike's doesn't work.
Mike is
so
silent.
Maybe he was wired. Maybe you were wired Mike still, and then change your name to Rockstar. I didn't even talk about that. That's way too close to my name, and I think you should change it. There used to be DJ Wars based on names.
Yeah, no, we're trying to get him a sponsorship because he drinks 7 to 10 Rockstars a day.
Yeah, so does so many other people.
Who the fuck? That's a lot.
Every
That's
person that has a raised up truck that over 6 inches, they drink that many monsters a day.
So many. That's so many.
I bet you I drink more. I'll be honest with you though, I can't talk shit because I drink so many frappes.
That's it. I don't drink any other.
See, I drink one a
soda
day. I can't
anything.
do more than I can drink one of those Reign energy drinks, and that's it. That's
See,
it.
I don't like those ones. I don't like the sugar-free ones. They taste like chemicals. And
they're
good chemicals.
All right, I'm be honest with you. I think you need to up it. It needs to be if you want to get sponsored, the cranberry juice guy to get sponsored. He literally was chugging a huge thing of cranberry juice on the way to work, whatever he was on a scooter or some shit.
My job's pretty cool, man.
I know, but you need to you to sponsor, you need to do something extreme with the Rockstar. You need to show how much extreme you are because it's an extreme brand.
How do you feel about face tattoos?
No, I mean, well, it depends.
That's already been done.
If they would give me $20,000, send it, baby.
He's not the first, but he wanted someone's already done the monster on the face tattoo.
True.
That's happened.
True.
I've seen that.
You're right.
I know.
You're right. So we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh rave scene history. I'm just gonna get that before I go because I have something on that about the tattoos. So a fun fact is that on Bass Nectar and Illgate's contract, if they have a Bass Nectar or Illgate's tattoo,
They get in for free.
They get in for free. So there's a bunch of people that really wanted to get into a show for free, and now the's laser surgery places
I'm
making
pretty sure the
fortune.
Illgates one's still holding up.
Yeah,
but
Illgates.
the
Illgates
Bass
is
Nectar
fine. Yeah,
one
Illgates
is the
fine.
one
Yeah,
that's
the Bass Nectar one. Yeah. It's
ooh.
It's a drop. It's a water drop.
Hey man, I have some cover-up tattoos, man. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Blackout, just black it out, white on it. I don't know, man.
Oh, the most of them are just black, straight black.
Yeah, I mean,
bold
it's a black
tattoos.
design.
Yeah.
That's that
Yeah,
tribal.
so that's
whatever
fun.
That's a
fun fact.
All right, but yeah, we wanted to.
here.
I came in and I want to be a little more organized in my thoughts because if not, I'll just have an anxiety attack and leave again or something. I always wanted to. We're part of the Pittsburgh rave scene. Me and Doe, we threw shows for a while. I've been going to shows 2002. He's been going to shows since 2000. You say?
Yeah, 2000. Yeah, September 2000.
And I just want to show some love to this scene that we've been a part of, and kind of bring up the history at least of what we remember it to be, or the people that we've remembered to be a part of it.
History written by us.
Yes, history written, the rave scene history written by us. We're gonna try to, if we don't mention people that we that were part of it through some shows, stuff like that. We know we were missing some people, and we apologize. We probably went to your shows. They just,
You know what going to raves is like. It's hard to remember shit sometimes.
We just put this shit together in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So if I forgot you, sorry.
Yeah, no, we did just kind of brainstorm it when we got here, but it's pretty extensive. We got a lot down.
We have a whole timeline in front of us.
We do have a whole timeline. It's pretty crazy.
All right, so we're gonna start with the land before time, and the land before time is before I was a raver. But
before I was a raver,
there's a legends.
Yeah.
These
These are the
it's the
stories,
time of the legends.
The stories that we heard coming into it, and we got AVTJ is from 1999, so he's got a little bit of extra insight too.
That's when I went to my first one.
Yeah, and I forgot Mike's
Yeah.
been raving.
When?
I went to Magic.
Did you go to the Expo Mart one?
No, the one at the paintball arena.
Okay.
It was either 99 or 2000.
That was 2000. That was 2000. I was at that. That's crazy.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah, that was 2000.
Okay.
So
I
I'm
could
the
never remember
youngest
if it was 99
raver
or
in here.
2000.
I'm
Yeah.
the youngest raver out of us three. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
All right.
the first one I went to. And then I
Yeah.
went to a whole bunch of groove and a whole bunch of other random shits that I don't remember of. And then I got on drugs and quit going. And
Yeah, that's crazy. See,
All right, so you did mention Groove. So you mentioned that the paintball arena.
Yes.
Yeah. So that we have that written down. So the paintball arena is one of
Was
those
the shit.
legendary ones. I never actually got to go party in the
God.
paintball
Yeah, no, it
arena.
was
oh my
super-
god, it was sketchy as fuck. It was
Yeah, it was
great.
cool as
It was-
fuck,
it
though.
was so
I heard
fucking cool.
everyone's UFOs would get destroyed that night.
Yeah,
and,
because
like,
the paint would just
Yeah.
from the paintballs would just drip all over the place because it gets so fucking hot.
So yeah, dude. Oh yeah, and so you walked up like I don't know 10 flights of narrow ass stairs.
Yes.
Like it was just like you went upstairs forever, and they were like this fucking big. And like if there was a line, you're like you can't go back down. Basically, you have to like do the theater seating shit to get back down. But then you get up into this little room full of like arcade machines and shit, and it was just like the DJ was like way up and like you couldn't really see them. They were almost above the lights. And then they had 2 small bathrooms, but then there was a back room that was the paintball arena, and it was just a big open fucking
Massive.
warehouse.
It's like a fucking football
Massive.
field. It's a,
So you go into a small room.
I played paintball back
Yeah,
then.
so like so we raved in the lobby, and then
Okay, I remember
for
how
Magic,
the li-
for
okay.
Magic there was like nothing in the big. There was another
Yeah.
side room. There was
TJ
another side
has
room.
an interjection.
all three of all three of them. Were,
Anytime I was there was nothing in the big room.
all three
in
of
the
them
big
were
paintball
open.
room.
TJ saying they
the
closed
one-
that
the
down,
one
but
that I
early
went-
on it
yeah.
was what?
The one that I
They-
went, all 3 rooms were open. The
Maybe-
entry room, the
so-
big back room,
okay.
and then the chill out room.
So the first time I was there, it was the first time I ever candy flipped, and it is a blur. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
the first time I
fucking-
ever took-
It is a fucking like that night was a bunch of my friends appearing out of the floor. I dated a girl after that for 3 months and thought that she was German. But she was just quiet.
What?
Dude, I thought she didn't speak much English. I swear to God.
Wait,
I was on a
3
lot-
months?
3 fucking months. I stayed at her house. She left and went to like Portland to go see her parents, and I like trashed her house on acid. It was bad. It was like really bad. I just found hallucinogens. And it was
All right,
bad,
all
it
right,
was
all right,
bad news. It was bad news. But regardless, so
3
there
months
may
of a
have been,
German girl that
been
wasn't
music
German.
in that third room. I don't know. I remember going into that third room and it being confusing as fuck.
So what else? What else do we have here? We have the Crane Building, people, the legendary Crane deal. But I've never heard of that. But
I don't-
TJ brought that one up.
Yeah, the crane
I-
building
I
was
missed
huge.
that
It was
era.
in it was pre. I actually went to a concert at the crane building. It was my first concert ever. My friend's older brother took us, and it was Everclear, Soul Coughing, Redman, and Method Man, and DJ
wow.
Spooky. So
soul coughing. That's
Soul
like,
Coughing, yeah. I
ooh.
went for Soul Coughing. Like, that's what I wanted to go
Yeah.
see. And I like, Everclear was popular at the time, so I wanted to see them. But Redman and Method Man, I was just like,
Yeah,
oh, this is
that's
going to be
insane.
fucking
That's
dope.
insane.
It was a snowcore tour or something. But anyways, so I got to be in the building. It's massive, massive building. And there's video on YouTube of like the lighting from, do you remember what the rave's called that was like real big there, TJ? It was like big, fuck, I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't get roasted for not knowing it.
I just got hit
But
with that
It's
pizza
like Big
he just
Adventure,
opened.
maybe. Does that sound right? Something like that. But anyways, they had a billion lights. I don't even know, but they had. There's like just a video of a dark giant. I mean, the place was massive. Think like airplane hangar type, like just big empty long thing, or like. Do you remember like a few years ago they had those Hardwell shows at like that big empty
It's
whatever? It's like that kind of place.
Yeah, it's the
studio
movie,
or whatever.
Yeah, the studio. on
Yeah,
31st.
So like it was like that kind of place. So it was a huge venue, but I don't know what happened to it. They got shut down, but it was also a concert venue. So it was like our biggest
Okay.
venue back then.
Well, I never got to
that I
experience
ever
the Crane
saw.
building, so I
Yeah,
can
it was
only
dope.
deal with people talk. And then we have the Ross Raver Arena. I've never went to a
Yeah.
one there either. This is all before my time.
I feel like I went to one there at some point in time, but
Is
I
that
don't
the one
remember
with
what
the,
it was or
The
who-
ceiling caved in or something eventually. Is that what I feel like that's
No
like, was
idea.
eventually the fate of that one. But then there was the Neville Ice Arena too, which I would get those two confused.
Maybe that's the one I'm.
The
Yeah.
Neville was
confusing it
used.
with.
I went to some crappy raves in the Neville years later, so that was still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, no, the Neville was there for a while. Yeah, that,
I've been to some real crappy
but I'm
raves.
just saying, people used it back then too, like there was. I'm trying to think what else was there. Was there any other pre-venues?
I don't
that I
know,
could think
but
of? Anyways,
We're
good.
getting to the time of right
we
before
actually
when I
know,
started.
yeah.
Yeah, and this is right before. The one that I wish I was at, that's literally probably the most legendary Pittsburgh party because I don't think they'll ever be able to do it again,
Tunnel
is
Vision.
the Tunnel Party. Like, I didn't get to go to it. I've seen video. The fact that they shut down a tunnel and they convinced Pittsburgh to think they were shooting a documentary or a movie and
Yeah.
they got to throw a rave there is absolutely legendary. Can never be topped.
Yeah, no, it's that's insane. Like the fact that they got everything, like that's like, you know, whenever you watch like the movie Groove or something, that's like real raver shit.
Yeah.
You know, like what I mean?
Like I wish they
they
actually did a documentary on making this rave. Like
right.
that'd be
I mean,
extremely.
the footage is cool. You ever watched the footage?
Yeah, I
from
watched
it?
some
Yeah,
footage,
on
but
YouTube.
some I want all the footage, man. I want to
Yeah, it's
know
wild.
exactly like what was in their minds. Like it would be such a crazy story like to do, and hats off. Like that's the one I really wish I would got to go to.
Oh yeah, no, that was wild for that.
Who threw that? Who was it? Do you remember? We got to give the credit due, but I don't know.
I don't remember. It's like one of
You
those
feel
things
like
I
we
feel
should
like
know,
I
but I
do
don't.
know it, but I can't
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out.
You figure it out,
Check
Mike.
I know
We'll-
it's
we'll-
not. I'm interrupting as hell. I'm so
No,
sorry.
you go.
No,
If you know, you know.
No, I'm thinking about something else. I didn't realize my mic was on. That's just how we do it around here.
Well, what are your thoughts on the tunnel party?
No, I was not at the tunnel party.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember what year it was, first and foremostly.
It had to be early to like 2000 to 2001. Maybe?
No, I don't think it was. It wasn't out. I
It was
think might have
later
been-
than that.
It was later? No,
I
way.
think
No, it was like
earlier.
96.
Yeah, it was.
It was
early.
96.
Very
Okay,
early.
okay. It's before my time. I don't really
It's
know.
very early.
The
because, like-
Pittsburgh scene was hot garbage 3 years after 9/11.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have
Yes.
that marked as a
We
void.
actually
on
have
our,
a
on our
void.
Time, on our, we do. We have that void. We have a void in our timeline. that we
Yes, there
talk
is a
about,
void.
which
We
is
call it
wild
the
because
void.
I can't wait.
UDG
I can't wait till we
Inc.
get to that part because like I
Yeah,
would like to hear
UDG Inc.
everybody else's experience.
Probably
on it.
Underground Inc. I'm guessing that's a
Underground Inc.
crew of promoters. UDG Inc. in Pittsburgh somehow obtained a permit from the city to close a major tunnel for a rave. They told the city, hold on.
They're filming a doc.
They told
movie
the city they were
on film
filming a
permits.
documentary on electronic music, but were really just throwing a party. The boldest move in the underground renegade scene in Pittsburgh in the mid-'90s. It was great. They got a lot of crap afterwards, but it was totally worth
Oh,
it.
it's totally worth
Good
it.
times,
I don't
yes,
give-
lots of E at that one.
Yeah.
Noteworthy appearances by Diesel Boy, Lonnie Fisher, a.k.a. Entity from D.C., Baltimore, mastermind of Ultra Parties, D.C., son from Baltimore, blah, blah, blah.
All right, so I'm like that
Those
right
are-
there is that we're gonna do a little awards too, and later I want to give out shout outs to like different companies throwing these shows when we go through the history. But like that one right there is by far top party in Pittsburgh. I don't care, it can't be topped.
When people say the before times or the long ago, that's
No, I
what,
wasn't
that's
even
what they're
there.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
I
no,
wasn't
that's-
even there.
That's a long time ago. Like they're like Deadly Buddha, Diesel Boy, like fucking just constructing shit from nothing. Yeah, dude. So then let's see. So then we get into like. So my first event was at Club Laga.
Yes,
Yeah.
Laga.
It wasn't
the Zeltz
Laga.
brothers.
So I went for Pursuit of Happiness's Tutopia. And that was in September of 2000.
I was in placement for that one.
Yeah, and it was.
Or maybe I wasn't. Maybe that was the one my friends went to. I don't know.
It was crazy.
that
It was
Tree?
super sweet.
They went to one Topia, and I went to two Topia at like a. I was.
There was
in
a 2.5
placement.
Topia.
Maybe that's
also.
the one I went to.
2.5 Topia. I brought 3 girls that I was dating to it. Well, no, I didn't. I brought one, and 2 other ones showed up, and I was in trouble.
I mean,
November 25th. It was 2.5 Topia. That was fun. But yeah.
every story relates to a past relationship of no respect.
It can. It absolutely can.
My first show was on my birthday, which was cool. That's why.
My
So
early
every
rave
year, my
scene
birthday
was,
is my rave anniversary.
Slutty. That's
Yeah, so my first rave was so technically my first rave was actually at the Rex and it still had all the seating there. And
That's not a rave.
It wasn't a rave. It was by this
That's not a
promoter
rave,
that I
man.
don't know was apparently
My first rave was at the
I don't
Rex.
know. I don't know. Apparently, there was bad stories about him, but it was I left early. I didn't
Wait,
do any
bad
drugs.
stories about who?
But then my first real rave was Laga.
Wait,
it was
what?
Laga on a Friday night. What?
was the first? The first
The first
person?
rave was at the Rex. It was by a guy called Pac-Man. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Not the Pac-Man that I
didn't hear
was
who you said,
friends
yeah.
with at the time.
Isn't that,
A
the
different
dude, isn't that the
Pac-Man.
dude
I know
that
who you're
sold all
talking
those
about.
bunk pills and they flipped his car and set his shit on fire?
I've heard a lot of bad stories about him.
At the party that we named after Era.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really count that as my first rave. I legit count Groove as my first rave. So
Groove was
I-
the shit. That was the coolest thing I ever experienced, and everything that I've done from that is based off of trying to recreate that.
That was just a different time. I mean, people don't realize how Laga was one of the best buildings and venues in
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
absolutely.
No, because
and-
the upstage too was amazing. Like I love to go to the upstage later in life at 80s night and stuff
My
like
friends
that.
And
learned
it was-
about
It's right there in
about the
Pitt.
raves because of going to punk shows at Laga, and they found out, after these punk shows, there's these fucking raves that we can
literally
go to.
how
That's
I-
how I learned about all this stuff.
That's literally. I was in line for Weed as Zebra Head, and then Mandy comes up to me. She's like, "You want to go to a rave next month at this same building?" I was like, "Yes." and then I got to go to Groove. So I got to like relive my first rave a bunch of times because of Groove.
Yeah,
like, 'cause
Groove
it was
was
like,
awesome.
Essentially the same thing. Like like a little bit less decorated,
Yeah.
but that's about it.
I mean, I was fully. I mean, that got me. I went to Groove. I remember on a Friday night, and then went to an after party afterwards. And then I remember going to some really like I don't remember very unmemorable like house. I mean, I don't remember well like 3 different house parties. Actually, I remember that first weekend there was some small party in Milk Records that I went to. And it was like this really, really tiny show on my second night of raving. That's where I ended up, probably all cracked out from staying up and all the drugs that you do your first weekend. And I mean, to me, I just went every weekend since then, and until it closed down like a year later, if probably earlier than a year.
Yeah.
But I mean, when that closed down, I feel like when Laga closed down, that was like one of the biggest hits to the scene, like in a sense at that time, and I feel like it did create what we're coming up to, which is the void.
Yeah.
What I like to call the void.
So what happened was a lot of the venues back then were up a lot of flights of stairs, like, and we got new fire codes around.
Yeah, and that changed all the
2001,
shit because then
like
you
late
needed fire.
2001.
I've actually never heard about
Yeah,
this.
this is
new to
why-
Oh, I
me.
talk about this all the time.
This is
Okay.
why
Yeah.
we lost a whole bunch of shit is because when the fire codes changed, then all these clubs and shit that didn't have fire escapes and secondary exits were no longer allowed to be used.
Rear easements and stuff like that. You had to have
Yeah, all this
a
weird
rear
shit.
escape in every place.
Fucking
and so
rules.
that's why every place just became a problem. Because if you even remember at Laga, like Laga shut down for other reasons, but like it had a weird stair system, and like, but I'm sure it had to have internal stairs. But anyways, like we were talking about the paintball arena, going up that narrow staircase, the only other way down was an elevator. So it's like you were like, if there was a fire in that place, we were all fucked because we're packing it with people, and it's not meant to be fucking packed with people. But yeah, we lost. Graffiti was an old like concert venue that was also second or third floor. We lost it back then.
I don't think I know about that one.
It was
Yeah,
in
I don't know
Oakland.
about that
I also
It was
wasn't
in
from
Oakland.
There were some
Pittsburgh, so-
downtown venues that I forget about that I remember people talking about that
like
were right
9 over
before my
9th.
time.
No,
No, 9 over 9th
9
was
over-
during my time.
Yeah,
It
that was amazing. But that
was-
was illegal.
oh.
We were illegal as fuck being there.
Oh, yeah?
I went to,
because
like,
we
club-
rode an elevator to get up
Oh,
there.
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
It was like pack as many people as we can. Fuck weight restrictions. Pack as many people as we can. in the
Who threw
elevator.
those shows?
Judd.
Judd?
That was Judd,
Shout out
yeah.
to Judd.
Shout out-
Anytime you get away with a legal thing and actually pull off successful raves, you get a thumbs up from me, all right? Because that's the way it was supposed to be done, and you had the balls to do it, and you took fucking the rave scene by the balls, and you gave us a better rave scene for it. 9 on 9th was a dope venue. The fact that it was illegal as fuck for us to be there makes it even better.
Yeah, we took an elevator to get up there, and then whenever we got up there, it was just basically they were renovating an office floor, so there's just pillars everywhere. And then you had the access to the outdoor patio that was probably used for like a break area or something like that. So like you just walk outside and it was just like open air Pittsburgh, downtown Pittsburgh. It's fucking that venue is beautiful.
Yeah, I never went there, but I always heard cool
But
shit
right
about
beside it, so in early rave days, speaking of like the before.
Well, we're
whenever
kind
I
of getting into
started-
this time of Judd because I would say the void was there, and then the people that kind of came out of that void, or were doing small things, or kept doing things, and now I would say we're getting a little bit more traction. We're like, definitely like Judd, Merdzak, and then who else do we have here?
Keith needs
yeah,
to be in there.
Yeah, Keith, and who's that? Rose. Rose was with
yeah.
Judd.
Yeah, that's the first. She's the first person I ever got a job as a promoter with.
I went to high school with her.
Did you? She was like the first person that I like reached out to because I was from Altoona. I didn't live out here, and I like would take a bunch of flyers home and give them to all these kids that I went to school with, and bring them all out here with me, and bring like multiple carloads of kids out here, and fucking pretty much like bring an extra 50 people to the show, which is like sometimes a super fucking big deal.
Yeah. So during that void, I would love to hear like why did you stop going during that time, or
No.
did you just go to shitty events?
No, I mean, so during that time, I'll be honest with you. I'm one of those who did start off, and I was force-fed happy hardcore by the crew of people that brought me in, and so I was very much in that like happy hardcore at that time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
and
going
then
to,
that's
going to Toronto to fucking.
That's when I
Call Blues
transitioned to
and shit.
breaks too. So I met DJ Fiction down in West Virginia. So I was going to Toronto and a bunch of different shows in like New York. I was supporting Tika a lot back then and stuff like that, and going to different shows in Ohio that she played. and we were
Toronto
going with
was
the
awesome.
Toronto's
we
the
were,
best.
I wish I didn't
Toronto's
have a
the
DUI
best.
because I would go
Yeah,
there all the
Toronto,
time.
Toronto is what all 1337
yeah. And then
after.
and
like,
then
that's like-
we one night my whole like DJ life and like taste of music changed, and it was honestly due to this DJ named DJ Fiction from West Virginia, and we were just at a house party. After something small in Pittsburgh, and he started throwing down breaks, Florida breaks, and he was just cutting them in, quick mixing, like just. And I loved it so much. I stopped listening to happy hardcore, and then I fell in love with broken beat music.
I liked UK Hard House originally. That was what I was into.
But I remember during that time, there were small things going on, but they just, nothing memorable. I don't remember anything super memorable from that time.
Yeah.
I remember a couple crazy things that happened during that time, I could say, is the one at the Expo Mart. It was Street Outlaws 2.
Oh, yeah.
And that got crazy. That got like, the police shut it down halfway through and had to have people come up. I think it was drug related. I'm not 100% sure. But that having a whole car show and having a crazy
I went to
lineup.
a race car rave. Is that what that one
Yeah,
was?
yeah, the one in the Expo Mart. It was a bunch of race
There was
cars.
a bunch of drag races and shit.
No.
So I definitely went to one in like Monroeville or Murraysville or something like that. That it was on these drag strips, and it rained, and we left before the DJs even really started playing. But it was like I can't remember what it was called. And I took my one buddy there, and he had the worst time. He's the only person I ever took to a rave that was never like, I'm not going back to that. Fuck that shit. And I'm like, bro, you went to the worst thing you could ever fucking go to. It was whack. I even think it was whack. To go to another one, he was like, no, fuck that shit. I'm never going to another one.
Yeah.
I
Shout
mean,
out
that
Andy
was
Winters.
the time, though. People don't realize, though, just because there weren't raves happening, what was happening in a very extreme amount was house parties. During that time, there were little houses that, like, I swear to God, they were like, you would find, and I don't want to be super rude here, but like, basically, they were crack houses. They were houses with no furniture that somehow some who lived at that would become the party house of the time. And there was always at least one of those houses where basically every weekend there was a house party there, like nonstop. So I remember that happening. But now we're getting into the time of, what I say is a resurgence of the rave scene in a sense.
You're rushing through this, Robbie.
Am I?
There's a lot. There's
All right,
a
let's
lot.
talk. What do you want
Let's
to talk about
let's
more?
a little bit more.
All right.
So I know during the downtime there was like smaller like shit going on. Like so I started throwing.
I went to Shadow Lounge.
That's literally what I'm going to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about. That's
That's a
literally
good
that's
one.
literally what I'm going
That's
to talk
fucking
I
about.
went
good.
there
That's
and I went to
funny.
I'm
like
so glad we didn't forget
Me
Shadow
and Mike
Lounge.
are
That's a
the
good
same
one not
I
to
went to
forget.
like Club Liquefied or Club Black or something like downtown.
Club Liquid downtown is the other one that I was going to talk about. See, Robbie, you're rushing me.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Club Liquid was right beside 9th over 9. It was inside though, and it was like had like weird. You were basically like inside of a house that had like
it was a bunch of weird
gutted
rooms.
area.
Yes.
Yeah, a bunch of little weird. They painted them all fluorescent and put on black lights,
lights.
and there was like pool tables. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was like a little like tiny little stairwell.
I saw
and
I saw
the DJ had to get
Delirium
up by a
there.
ladder. It was an elevated DJ
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, I remember
And they had
that.
to climb a ladder to get up into the DJ booth, which was looked fucking sketchy as fuck. It wasn't like a good ladder. It was like a fucking sketchy ass ladder. But that was Club Liquid. And then but that got shut down because of obvious reasons. It was a fucking basically like a house that we were throwing giant raves in. It was like
How many people could it hold?
It was huge. It was like
Really?
it was probably more like an apartment, like a group
Okay.
of apartments, and they like gutted a big part of the
All right,
like
give
the
me an
lobby.
estimate. You throw shows.
Oh, about 300, 400.
There we go.
Yeah. So it was back then. It was hard for me. It's hard for me to guesstimate because back then I didn't have a judge of
Yeah.
I'd say about 300 maybe.
Okay.
Like uncomfortably, like 300 like raver packed. But then yeah. So me and Damien in around 2002. Started throwing something called Something to Do because we were so mad that there was nothing to do at Shadow Lounge, and we booked Cut Ups, Belladonna Kills, Two Rip. Girl Talk came in one time and was just like, I'm not doing anything. They were like, put this guy on, and Girl Talk played for us one time, and it was wild.
And that's before he probably released this. Like,
It was way before.
Yeah.
It was whenever he was playing breakcore because I really liked
Okay.
breakcore back
Oh,
then.
okay.
So what I was trying to do back then was I booked somebody from. I did this a lot later also, but I tried to book somebody from like different genres, and we booked bands too. I booked like a rock rap band for it, but I'd do like there'd be like a breakcore person, a trance person, like a breaks person, a band, and like a drum and bass DJ. And I would have like those 5 hours, and we'd like hang out at the Shadow Lounge. And Shadow Lounge dudes, Justin.
I just remember it had red
they
carpet.
were
I went there
dope.
with Mike Hour a whole bunch of times. I met Mike. This is how I like got connected with like an actual Pittsburgh cruise. I got locked up after I went to my first rave, like a couple of months after I started going to shows, and I met Mike in placement, and him and my other friend Austin Shook. He's dead now, but those were the two ravers that were in my placement that I met. And then whenever I got out of placement, I became real good friends with Mike. I'm still good friends with Mike. He's probably the person that I like have known the longest out of all of this.
That's crazy.
Yep. But I would bring all these kids from Altoona out here, and I would just go meet Mike and Austin and buy a bunch of rolls for real cheap and sell all the kids that I came with ecstasy and make a fucking shit ton of money. And we just balled out of control because I
We
made
got
all this
statute of
dough.
limitations.
It
Don't
was
worry.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone gets
how long are they? How long ago was
Everyone
that?
gets nervous.
Yeah, I'm like,
Someone
thinking,
who
I was
isn't-
doing the math in my head, like, hold on, statute of
Someone who
limitations,
isn't
what
me.
is
Bro, I was
this?
like 20 some fucking years ago.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
not. I mean, yeah, but I
Right.
don't.
Do we want to take a break and have a? Are you ready? Yeah.
All right,
We're gonna have Low play for. Low's our only DJ that showed up. TJ might, AV TJ might DJ, but we won't pressure him. Winston said he was gonna show up so we could pressure him, but he didn't show up yet.
All right, so we're gonna take a break here at the Void, okay? And when we
Yeah.
get back, we're gonna cover what we really know on the rave scene, the ones that we were extremely a part of, that I was probably at mostly all the shows at, so I can give you an actual account of like who was doing stuff and what we remember and what we actually appreciate, because we actually appreciate the whole rave scene. All
I
these people
appreciate
did it.
all that shit.
Exactly,
Even
I really
people
do.
that I don't
We
like,
forgot a
which
big
isn't
thing.
really many.
What's that?
We forgot a big part of things.
What's that?
What?
The longest running drum and bass
Oh,
weekly.
BBT.
Well, we're
It's-
gonna get to that.
Yeah,
We're gonna get to that.
It's down there.
We're gonna
That's
get
the
to
big
that.
stuff.
So
Tej.
it's the BBT timeline is almost as big as the
We-
timeline. Like it is.
we
There's
were
a
like-
giant
It's the
under-
same
Here, wait, hold on.
timeline.
Yeah, the BBT definitely will get a shout out. So yeah, let's show the timeline that we drew. It's a really terrible timeline. Here, bring it up to more to the camera. Bring it more up to the camera.
So we got the timeline, then we got the BBT down here.
This is the BBT. The BBT timeline.
You come in further.
It comes around. Yeah, come on further. Come in further. Oh, no, we
There,
got
it's
it. We'll
right
get
there.
to it.
Stop.
Spoilers. There we go.
All right. But yeah, the BBT timeline, it goes all the way over there. We definitely.
Okay.
We got it on our
The preparation is on point. I'm going to put 8 minutes on the clock.
All right, 8 minutes on the
Hey.
clock. All right. As long as you finish your set, you're already a better DJ than I am. So I can't wait to hear it. All right.
Fantastic.